Hi everyone, I'm Rockin' Robin, and today I'm going to show you how to roast a chicken with some potatoes and carrots, rosemary, garlic, wine, a whole bunch of good stuff in there. And it's one of my favorite recipes to make because it's so easy to make and it tastes delicious. So let's go over our ingredients. We're going to need a chicken. I have a 3.5 pound chicken here that I rinsed and then patted dry with paper towels. We'll need some rosemary. Got this out of my garden, nice and fresh. Here I've got an onion. You can use a yellow. I happen to have red today, so I'm going to use that. I'm going to need some red potatoes. I have about 3. You'll need a couple carrots, and we'll need some garlic. This is a whole clove of garlic that I went ahead and peeled. We'll need about 1/4 cup of butter. I'm going to have that nice and soft at room temperature. And we'll need some olive oil, some white wine. I have some Sauvignon Blanc, some smoked paprika, and some salt and pepper. So I'm going to start with slicing up my onion. So I'm going to go ahead and cut both ends off. Cut it in half and peel. Okay, so we're just going to cut slices about, I don't know, half an inch thick. And what we're going to do with this is place it in our dish. I have a baking dish here that I'm just going to lay this down so that the chicken can rest on top of the onion, just like that. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and salt. I'm going to put a little bit of salt in the cavity of the chicken, and then we'll place our chicken on top of the onions. Now what we want to do is to cut up my carrots and potatoes. So we're just going to cut these into chunks. It's pretty much as evenly in size as you can. Sprinkle them around your chicken. And next we'll do our carrots. And for these I just washed and rinsed them. I didn't peel them, they're organic, so I didn't have to bother with that. And I'm just going to cut them into bite-sized chunks. And now I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle those around the chicken as well. Okay, so now we want to take our softened butter and 1 of the cloves of garlic, and I'll put it in my garlic press, and I'm going to squeeze it into the butter mixture. Now the next thing we want to add to this is some rosemary. So I'm going to take my fresh rosemary and I'm going to pull off the leaves. There's no set amount here, but just take a nice little clump, maybe like that. If you like a lot of rosemary, you can add more. I'm going to go ahead and finely chop this, because what we're going to do with this is we're going to use this as a rub that I'm going to put under the skin of the chicken. So I want this to be nice and small. Okay, so once it's nice and fine, we're going to go ahead and add it to our butter mixture here, and then we'll just take a fork and mix it all up. You want to combine this nice, very well so that that garlic is spread throughout the mixture. And what this is going to do, this is going to keep our chicken super moist, and it's going to add some flavor right to the meat. Okay, so what we want to do here is I'm going to loosen the skin with my hands so that I can get the butter mixture underneath here. It's sort of, you see people do this with turkeys when they're cooking turkey for Thanksgiving. All right, so I've got it pretty much loosened up. Now I'm going to take the butter mixture and I'm just going to place some in that area, just like that. Do it on both sides. And I'm going to kind of massage it in, give it a little massage, chicken massage, okay? And what this is going to do, like I said, is it's going to baste our chicken as it's cooking. And it's going to baste it with, some nice rosemary and garlic flavor. And of course, you can leave most of it here on top because it's going to just melt and go down into the lower parts of the chicken. We're going to go ahead and stuff the inside of the chicken, and I'm going to take out some of the cloves of garlic to toss around the outside. So I'm going to take maybe half, and I'm going to go ahead and put those inside. We're going to stuff those in there. This is going to give it some really good flavor as it roasts, and then I'm going to take a whole bunch of stems of rosemary and stick those inside as well. The rest of the cloves I'm just going to place around the potatoes and the carrots like that. And now I'm going to add some wine. Wine is really great with the potatoes as they're roasting, so I'm going to pour a fair amount of wine in here. It's going to cook out and evaporate anyway, so it's not like you can put too much in my view. All right. And I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil on top of the chicken, just like this. And then I'm going to rub that in a little bit, spread it around. And I'm going to add a little bit of my paprika. I like to use the smoked one because it has a nice little smoky flavor. We're going to pour that just a little bit on top, and as it cooks it'll have a nice kind of red color to it. And just rub it in. You can see how it gives it a nice red color. Now the only thing left we need to do is add back some more rosemary to the potatoes and the carrots. And we'll just lay the stems in there all around. And if you want to tear off some of the leaves and make it smaller, you can do that too. And the last thing we're going to want to do is add some salt to our carrots and potatoes and the chicken, a little bit on there. Now we're ready to put this in the oven at 425 degrees, and we're going to cook it for about an hour and a half. While I'm putting this in the oven, I wanted to mention that when you're cooking your chicken, you want to make sure that the internal temperature reaches at least 165 degrees, but I'm going to go for probably 170, 175. And as a rule of thumb, when you're cooking your chicken, you're going to say, well, my chicken is 4 pounds, how long do I cook it? So as a guide, just use 20 to 25 minutes to the pound. And get yourself one of these cool little instant read thermometers. All you do is stick it in your chicken when you think it's done for like 6 to 8 seconds, and it tells you the temperature, so they're really cool. Our chicken has been in the oven now for about a half an hour, and you want to go in and check it and stir it. So that's what I'm doing now. Just stir your potatoes and your carrots, turn them over, that way you can get them, you can see the wine in there, and that way you can get them moist. Kind of baste them a little bit so that they're not dried out. So just flip them around. You can see that the chicken is starting to get golden brown already. And we'll check it again in another 20 minutes or 30 minutes. Okay, it's been an hour since the chicken has been in the oven, so we're going to have a look. It's starting to brown up quite a bit, but things are moving along nicely here. And I am going to go ahead and I'm going to turn the oven temperature down to 375, and I will be testing the temperature of the bird in about 20 minutes to see where we're at. So I took the chicken out of the oven after an hour and 20 minutes, and I tested it with the instant read thermometer, and it was almost about 180 degrees, so I know it's done, and everything looks great. So I'm going to go ahead and serve it up a little bit here on the plate. Now we've got our potatoes here that are nicely roasted. So I'll put a little bit on the plate. Smells amazing in here, by the way. Now on the chicken, I'm going to go ahead and, boy, this has been sitting for about 10 minutes, and that's what you want to do. So I'm going to go ahead and just slice off a piece of the breast here. I can see the rosemary that we had pressed underneath the skin, and the skin is nice and crispy. So I'm going to go ahead and take a little taste. Oh wow, that is really moist. And I can taste a little bit of the butter and the rosemary and the garlic. It's a very, very nice flavor, and it's super, super tender and juicy. All of the carrots and the potatoes are nicely roasted. It really turned out great. I think you're going to like it. So I hope you enjoyed this recipe. It's super easy to make like I showed you, and the leftovers are great. You can add it to your salad, or you can make sandwiches with it, so there's a lot you can do with this. And if you really enjoyed the video, be sure and subscribe to my channel. That way you won't miss any new videos coming out. And if you really enjoy it, share it with your friends by clicking that share button right down there below. And leave me a comment. I'd love to hear from you. Let me know what you think of this recipe, and thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.